Hey everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. In this video, I am going to be talking about how I came to do what I do and how I got to do it full time. I realized that I think I've told it in bits and pieces, and I've given some talks at events where I've told my story, but I don't really have one YouTube video that summarizes everything, so that's what this one is going to be about. So if you're curious, you can stay tuned, and if you're not, I guess you can exit out. I started blogging, or I guess being on social media, through a foodie Instagram account purely to hold myself accountable. It was the new year, and one of my New Year's resolutions was to eat healthier, and I thought it would be fun just to use Instagram as a sort of food log and record all of my meals, and then that way I could look back on my meals and motivate myself to eat healthier, I guess. I was a sophomore in college at the time. I was like, wow, if I ever get sent food for free, that would be the ultimate dream. That was like my goal. But honestly, my biggest goal was just to eat healthier. I really wasn't doing it with any other intentions. It was purely for a motivation slash fun. I would say I continued that trend for a while, probably about like a year, almost 2 years, like a year and a half, to be honest. I don't really consider this as part of my quote unquote Instagram career, because I was not trying to grow my account or try to share recipes with other people. I was literally just posting a bowl of oatmeal like every single day with bananas and then a variety of nut butter on it. I don't really think I was trying to express myself creatively either. It was purely just a food log. But then I started to get more into Instagram and the whole sort of Instagram blogging scene, or the foodie scene, when I went vegan. And this was the summer before my junior year. I wasn't vegan at the time, I was just vegetarian, but I liked to experiment in vegan baking and things like that, because I saw it as a sort of a science experiment, like, wow, I can still make a cake that's fluffy without using eggs. But I would say I wasn't passionate about veganism because I didn't really know why I wanted to go vegan. But once I researched the environment, animals, ethical reasons, I fully went vegan, actually on my 21st birthday, that July of that summer. I would say that June is when I really started to try to challenge myself more creatively. And then in July, I went fully vegan and sort of like threw myself into it. And then I would say from there, that's when I started to get a little bit more creative and share my food with people, and that's when my account started to grow. I would say when I started out, I was just showing photos of my everyday vegan meals. I still tried to make them look pretty, and sometimes I would play around with food and, do a rainbow or a swirl on my smoothie bowl, things like that. So I was still trying to be creative in like some aspects, but it wasn't to the full-on point of, I guess, what I do today. I think after those first 6 months, I started to get requests from people, this is around winter time, to start a YouTube channel. And I used to love YouTube. I mean, I still love YouTube, but I was a big YouTube watcher. Like, I would watch all of the bigger vegan channels. Well, not all of them, but there were several that I really, really liked and looked up to. I was always like, oh, I could never be a YouTuber. And I did have some appreciation for the amount of time that went into editing videos. All this time, I was still a student in school. I was an undergraduate. At this point, I was studying rehabilitation and science and minoring in Spanish. But then one night, I think I just had a dream that I started a YouTube channel, and I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this. So I tried it, and then I started posting more YouTube videos. I started out with really basic, like what I eat in a day videos, and then my YouTube channel sort of took off from there. So then I was doing YouTube and Instagram all while being a full-time student, and I did that for about a full year. And then that following December is when I started making a website, because I had a few other blogger friends who I looked up to who had websites, and I knew it was a good way to, sort of increase your reach on the internet and drive traffic to another site. That's sort of how the evolution of all of my 3 main platforms came to be. Overall, that took like about 2 years in total, and I sort of just grew as my audience grew. So I didn't really start everything at once. I feel like that could be slightly overwhelming for some people. I just kind of took everything at a pace that was good for me, because at the end of the day, I was doing all of the stuff while I was still in school, and I still considered it a hobby. And by the time I started my blog, I was making money on YouTube. I also still had a other job as a waitress in college, so I did not consider this to be a job at all. I kind of just considered it to be a hobby. And it was just fun. It's what I liked to do. In high school, I remember thinking that if I could have any job that I would want to be a photographer, and I always loved food. So when I first discovered Instagram and the foodie world of Instagram, I was like, whoa, this is so cool. I can take pictures of my food to combine the two things that I like. But it was always just sort of a creative project for me. It was never something that I actually thought could be my full-time job. So I graduated college. I went to the University of Pittsburgh, and I was still doing my website and my blog and YouTube sort of as a side hobby, but I was making okay money. Like, I could not support myself, but it was fine. But then I was going to graduate school immediately after I graduated. So I graduated in May, and my grad school started like early June. So I thought that I would take a risk, and when I went to grad school, I would continue to try to do my blog and my YouTube and my Instagram as best as I could, and sort of use that as a supplemental income, because also I had heard that with graduate school, it's really best not to get a job, I guess, in the first semester, because you're supposed to acclimate to the classes. I think that depends on your program, but I was going to graduate school to study physical therapy, and it was a 3-year program, and by the end, I would have gotten my doctorate of physical therapy. So the program itself is very intense. I went to one of the top 10 schools in the US, University of Miami. If you look back on my videos, you can see it. So I was balancing my graduate school classes with posting content regularly. I was actually posting 3 YouTube videos a week. I think I was doing 1 recipe a week on my blog, and then I was posting 1 to 2 times on Instagram every day. And I know it sounds like a lot, but I think one of the most beautiful things about this job/profession is when you love what you do, it really doesn't seem like work. I didn't feel like I was working when I was creating content for you guys and for my platforms, because it was so fun and I loved interacting with you guys, and like cooking was truly what I wanted to do. So that sort of segues into the next part of my journey, where I left graduate school, and I posted a video about this. It's a more popular video on my channel. If you haven't seen it, I will link it here. Basically, I just realized that while I love physical therapy and I thought it was what I wanted to do with my life, having this opportunity to do blogging and YouTube and content creation full time, I felt like I should take that opportunity. And I was realizing that while I respect physical therapy, it wasn't something that I was necessarily totally passionate about anymore, and that my passion really lied in doing this. So after a long time crying, battling the decision. If you want to see me cry, you can watch the video. But I decided to withdraw from my program after a little over a year. It was like a year and a few weeks, and do blogging full time. So I was still living in Miami, and I left my program, and I just did what I do now. So obviously from the beginning of graduate school to the time I left, I started to make a lot more money, and I'm transparent with you guys. I tell you when a video is sponsored. So I make money by working with other brands. I make money from the ads on my YouTube videos, and I make money from the ads on my blog and working with brands on my blog, and also working with brands on Instagram. And additionally, I also do some freelance work for other companies. And then I guess the other things that I make money from are affiliate links. So it's like if I link to an Amazon product, it's the same price for you, but because I'm bringing someone to Amazon, I get a portion of the sales. When you work for yourself in this niche, you make money through a lot of different ways. So you have like a lot of different platforms or avenues where you make money, but it all comes together to form sort of one more cohesive thing. So from the beginning of grad school to the time I left graduate school, I would say my income dramatically increased, and it was enough to pay my monthly rent and to have enough money left over to support myself, which was also one of the reasons why I decided to leave my program, because I knew that this was becoming a more sustainable career for me and something that I could do full time. Now I have been working for myself full time for a little bit over a year, and even more things have changed, I guess. So I was living in Miami. I had a roommate who I met in my graduate school program. I just recently moved across the country from Miami, Florida to Vancouver, Washington, which is where I am now. And it's just outside of Portland. I'm living with my friends, Jasmine and Chris, Sweet Simple Vegan. They're also bloggers. I'm sure you guys know them. I mention them on my channel all the time. I'm just sort of being consistent with my YouTube videos and my blog and my Instagram. Obviously, I would like to continue to grow. I think it would be cool to write a cookbook or release more ebooks, but this is my full-time job, and this is how I support myself. And there are definitely a lot of misconceptions about this job. Every once in a while, someone will leave a comment on my YouTube video being like, "Wow, poor you, your life sucks because you just make YouTube videos for a living and blah, blah, blah." Basically deprecating me and thinking that I don't work hard. And I will admit that I am very blessed to be able to work for myself and to have a website and YouTube and Instagram. But at the same time, it still is a lot of work. And I feel like if you don't work in the creative field, you may not necessarily realize that. Even for YouTube, I would say there's a minimum of 12 hours that goes into every single video. And with blog posts, like I have to test the recipes, then I have to photograph them, then I have to write the blog post. That in itself could be another 10 to 12 hours. And I do 2 of those every single week. So all in all, I honestly work more than 40 hours a week when I create content for all of my platforms. Obviously, it's in a very different setting, and for me, it's very enjoyable because it's something I'm passionate about and I'm not sitting at a desk. But at the end of the day, I'm still putting in a lot of hard work. And before I was able to do this full time, I was also still putting in a lot of hard work while I had another job or while I was in school. So it's not just like I did the law of attraction and this fell into my lap and now life is a breeze and I'm laughing all the time and la 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 frou frou blah. Like, I totally agree in the law of attraction. I think if you want something, you can get it. And I think that's a very popular trend or theme in our society right now. And I think a lot of people want to be full-time bloggers or YouTubers or have websites. And it's definitely a very crowded market, but I still don't think that that means you can't succeed in it. I mean, I think there's room for everyone to succeed. I think the thing that a lot of people forget about is that, yes, while there are some people who have been more successful than other people, and to be honest, I still don't consider myself to be that successful. Like, I still have a hard time calling myself a professional. People need to realize that there's still a lot of hard work and dedication involved. And it's just like any other job. There are going to be periods of your life where it's a lot more fun and exciting, and other periods where it feels a little bit more monotonous. But at the end of the day, I love my job. I love that it can be my job. And I do feel like really grateful to have this. And I know at times I do say that I feel like I was lucky, like I joined at the right time. But the thing is, YouTube was still pretty popular when I joined YouTube and my channel grew to be this size. I definitely think hard work and dedication plays a role into it as well. And that being said, there are people who joined YouTube after me and their channels are like 5 times bigger than me. So I really think it's about finding your passion, having the drive to follow through with everything, and then, being real and true and authentic to your audience and finding that sort of niche market or those people who you directly appeal to and who are going to love your content. I think that is the secret for success, because to be honest, I can't tell you why my Instagram account grew faster than this person's, or my YouTube grew faster than this person's, or why it grew slower than another person's. I really just think at the end of the day, you just need to be content with what you are doing and make sure your message is true and clear. And then your audience will come. If it's something that you're passionate about, I truly believe that you are going to find your people and you will be able to make it work for you. So this video is already kind of long, and I wanted to include a section on like how I learned to do what I do, but I think it's gonna have to be another video. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to film another video like that, so I can talk about like how I learned to take photos and make videos and give you guys my other tips too if you're just starting out. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're not subscribed to my channel, feel free to hit that little subscribe button right down there. I post 2 new videos every single week. And yeah, thank you guys for supporting me and allowing me to do this full time. I do really appreciate it. So I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.